Hello again and welcome to Pond's Python Practice. Today I'm going to be talking about the concept of event-driven programming. So, event-driven programs are sort of a hurry up and wait thing. The program runs and waits on your input, then when that input happens, or rather an event, the code in the event handler is run, so it hurries up, and then it waits again for another event to happen. Before I get to my code, I'm going to do a more concrete example using something that most of you have probably done, and that is going to see a movie in the theater. What do you do when you go to the theater? You get in line to get your ticket, then you decide whether you're going to get snacks or not, then you go to your seat, and you just sit through it and leave. Well, these can actually be thought of as a series of events. The first event is that you get in line, and then you wait for your turn in line. This could also be broken down into a series of smaller events of wait for the person at the front to get their ticket, then it moves up, then wait, but we're making it simple here. Then you get your ticket, and then immediately you decide to get your concessions or not. If you do, you wait in a line. If you don't, you just go straight to your seat. You get in your seat, and you wait, and depending on when you get there, you sit through the announcements or the previews. Those are events, and you're also waiting after that. Then you watch the movie, and then you leave. It happens in an order, and you have some control over it, but also just time has a lot of control over it. So now let's look at my program. Okay, so this program runs my function from video 3 that just adds 1 to a number. I've fixed it up a little bit and changed up the globals, and I challenge you to see if you can figure out why I did that and why I placed the globals where I did. So let's run this and see what happens. Okay, well this frame pops up, but nothing else happens. That's actually what I was expecting because this is event driven. I'm using Simple GUI, so let's look down at the bottom to see what I'm doing. So I've got a frame and a timer and 2 buttons and an input field. That agrees with what we saw a minute ago, except that we didn't see anything going on with the timer. Let's dig in and see why. Well, it looks like these buttons are pretty similar, because one says that its handler is start time, and the other says that its handler is stop time. So those are right here, and look, the start time button, it prints a message and then it starts the timer. The stop time button prints a message and then it stops the timer. So what does the timer do? Okay, let's look for this tick function. It's right here, and it increments a count. It prints an event message. I've done that in all of these handlers. You don't have to do that. I'm just doing it to illustrate exactly what's happening. So it prints a message, then it increments the count, then it prints another message, and it calls the function. And if the count gets too high, it stops the timer. I've defaulted that stop to be at 10 counts, but this input thing here, which uses set stop time, allows you to change that. So now that we know how this actually works, let's run the program again. Okay, so I hit run and the frame comes up and there's still nothing going on. But let's see. We can start the timer. The start button is clicked as an event. Then the event, the timer ticks, the timer ticks, the timer ticks, and we can stop it. We can start it again and it runs until 10. So the time was already stopped, so I'll stop it again. So let's see, I want it to run a couple more times, so I'll say event as 15, enter, event input given, and let's start it again, and it goes up until 15. So event-driven programming is easy to explain, but it can be hard to understand. I hope that I have helped you in your understanding, and I will see you next time. Good luck with your projects.